skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesty above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And good evening, everyone. Great to be here with you this evening. John Bowes, Superintendent of the Manhattan Beach Unified School District. And this is my third time presenting at the State of the City event. Thanks to the Chamber for hosting it. The state of the schools is strong, and we have increasing enrollment here in Manhattan Beach Unified with 6,200 students who attend our preschool, 5 elementary schools, Manhattan Beach Middle School, and MiraCosta High School. MBUSD is a destination district, and we are known for a decades-long tradition of excellence. If you've never seen our Model United Nations program, I invite you to attend one of their debates. It's really truly something to see. Pictured here are our 8 National Merit semifinalists, and that means they're in the top 1% of all students scoring on the PSAT nationwide. Additionally, we are a Grammy Award-winning music program and just decades-long tradition of athletic championships across the South Bay. Likewise, all of our elementary schools are gold ribbon schools, and our test scores are among the highest in the region and among the best in the state. I am regularly pleased to find when I visit classrooms, students leaning in to learning and top-tier instruction going on in all our classrooms. If you didn't see the KTLA Spotlight the other week, I'd encourage you to go to our website to check that out. You'll see our cheer team, our jazz and bands performing, comedy, sports, and a host of other activities that really highlight what makes MiraCosta great in MBUSD. We're focused on 5 board goals, and primarily on maximizing the academic success of every student. We want to make sure that we have a personalized learning plan for everyone, and that's buttressed by a focus on a culture of care. And that means that every student feels welcome and included on our campuses. Additionally, we're focused on making sure we do the most with our scarce budget dollars. I think it's no secret here that despite the socioeconomic status and housing values in MBUSD, that our district is among the lowest funded per student in the state of California. And I'll talk a little bit about why we're so thankful for local support and donations. But in addition to maximizing our resources, we want to make sure that our students are learning in 21st century learning facilities that are safe, clean, and secure. We also want to make sure that we are communicating well and regularly. If you're not signed up for the superintendent newsletter, which comes out every Friday, I hope you'll sign up by visiting our website at mbusd.org, because we have a lot of good news to share each week. I want to take a moment to say a special thank you to everyone in Manhattan Beach who supported Measure MB. It is a parcel tax. Measure MB is a parcel tax that generates local funding that Sacramento cannot take away. It funds 20 certificated teachers that helps lower class sizes and brings great programs to our students. There is an exemption if you are a senior citizen. And if you currently have that exemption, there's nothing else you need to do. It will just carry over. If you don't have an exemption to the parcel tax, you're a senior citizen and you're interested in one, just visit our website. It's very easy to fill out that exemption, and our business services office can help if you have any questions. But a tremendous thank you to the renewal of the Measure MB parcel tax. Thank you, Manhattan Beach. Our Board of Trustees, many of whom are here this evening, includes Board President Kathy Graves, Vice President Jen Fenton, Clerk Tina Shapuri, and Board members Jen Fenton and Bruce Greenberg. They do an awesome job providing vision and direction that our staff then carries out. And we can't do it alone. Special shout out to some of the following groups, the Manhattan Beach Education Foundation, who over 40 years has helped raise $100 million for the district, to the Chamber and the City of Manhattan Beach, the Los Angeles County Office of Education, our certificated and classified bargaining partners, all of our school PTAs, along with MBX, which is the organization that helps coordinate the work of all of our booster clubs. We have over 100 different clubs, athletic programs, and other activities for our students. If there's an interest that a student has, we probably have a group of other students they can join with in that. In 2016, the community supported the passage of a bond. Thank you again for that. It's helped with the construction of an awesome athletic facility. If you've never seen it, you'd think you were at UCLA or another D1 school. We have new pickleball courts at the middle school, new classrooms at Pennicamp. Stadium Way is the entrance to our football stadium, and it is 70 years old and desperate need of a facelift and some renovation. So if you're driving down Peck, I'll hope you'll slow down, peer down that alleyway, and come June, we are on schedule to have it open for graduation. It's going to be a great new way to welcome visitors to our campus. New Performing Arts and Administration building at Grandview Elementary, and a new music building at Manhattan Beach Middle School, which is just a fantastic acoustically perfect venue for our instrumental and choral music junior high school students. It is spring. That means it's time when we're thinking about next year and enrolling students. If you have a new neighbor and you see some little kids or older kids around, please remind them the sooner they can enroll with our schools, the better. We are open for enrollment. We thank Manhattan Village for the free digital marketing that we partnered with them on, also to the city for the banner program you'll see across some of our streets here in Manhattan Beach. The state of the school district is strong. We have a lot of fantastic programs for each and every student. Manhattan Beach is a wonderful community, and we see that reflected in all the different ways that PTAs, boosters, the city, the Chamber, Connecticut, Beach Cities Health District, and everyone else is a true partner and support making sure that each student walks away from our schools ready for college, career, and life.
So my name is Rachel, and I have the great honor of being your police chief, and I'm grateful to be here with you tonight to discuss the state of the police department. But before I get on to my slideshow, I just want to ask a quick question if anyone knows what happened about 100 years ago. And it wasn't that I was appointed chief back then. This is the 100th year of the Manhattan Beach Police Department. And so the badge I'm wearing is the first badge that we had in 1924. It's a mock-up of it. It has my badge number on it and everything else, and it commemorates our 100th year. And the patches that I'm wearing were our first patches. And when we first became a police department in 1924, we didn't have patches until around the 40s. So this patch is the first patch that we had as a police department. And I just think it's important that we reflect on the 100 years that we have served the citizens of Manhattan Beach, and that's why you'll see a lot of our team members wearing the badge and the patch this year. And while I can't talk about, I could spend our whole time together talking about how things have changed in the last 100 years, I want to talk about what hasn't changed. And that's the Manhattan Beach Police Department's commitment to this community, the commitment to working together to reduce crime and keep our community safe. And so we're going to take a little bit of time and talk about the state of Manhattan Beach and what we've done here recently. So I think numbers are helpful to kind of inform what we have done. And I'll start with the big pie chart on the left side of your screen. And it's about our calls for service. And we had about 35,000 total calls for service in 2023. So our little hamlet had about 35,000 calls, which is about 95-ish calls a day, depending, when you average that over every day, with some days having fewer calls and days in the summer obviously having more calls for service, but about 35,000 calls for service. But you'll notice on that pie chart, those calls for service are kind of split into two categories. And one is self-initiated activity, and the other one is our dispatch calls for service. And I make that important distinction because over half our calls are calls generated by our employees. And so those dispatch calls for service are the calls that allow us to meet our primary function, which is to come when you call us and come quickly. Our average response time for emergency calls is about 1.5 minutes, which, is really, really fast. I'm really, really proud of our team. But 1.5 minutes is a really long time, depending on what side of the restroom stall you're on, right? So we're always trying to make that a little bit better wherever we can. But I'm very, very proud of how responsive we are in the community. But over half of our calls are self-initiated, which means that our officers, our community services officers, our animal control officers are out there making car stops and engaging in other proactive activity when they don't have calls for service. One of our blessings is that we don't have a lot of calls for service, so that gives our team a lot of time to dig into the issues that are most important to our community. And some of those are traffic issues, the identified traffic problems. We all know the stop sign in our neighborhood that we wish, why isn't there a police officer there? They're there. They made, 8,300 traffic stops last year. And some of that's other things like in dealing with unleashed dogs on the beach and other quality of life issues, parking problems and quality of life issues. And so I'm very proud of our self-initiated number, because well over half of our calls for service were our own employees trying to be responsive to needs of the community before we were called. Doesn't mean I don't want you to call us, and I have a slide about calling us, but our team is very, very proactive and very, very responsive to the needs of the community. In addition to all those calls for service and the traffic stops I mentioned, we made 842 arrests. Here in our little square of heaven, we arrested on average about 2.5 people a day. And we don't arrest half people. Those are that's just how math works. When I was doing my slide deck. And so to talk about crime, just for a minute, there are two categories of crime that we generally lump all of our crimes into: crimes against persons, what happens to you, and crimes against property, what happens to your stuff. And we are so fortunate here that we enjoy a really low violent crime rate. The bulk of our crimes are related to property crimes. And with regard to our violent crimes, we haven't really seen any trends. There's not something that we are looking out for or guarding against. We are very fortunate to have a very low violent crime rate, with about 90% of our crimes being property crimes. And while I would love to live in a world where we don't have to talk about crime at all, that's not our reality in society. But those property crimes, those 90% of the crimes that we have, are crimes that we can work together on. And so I just want to talk about those for just one moment. With regard to our property crimes and our theft crimes, for burglary, Neighborhood Watch is a great resource to get to know your neighbors, and so that you know who they are, you know who should be at the house and who shouldn't. So if you see a suspicious person, you can call the police department. We can come check it out, and we can make an arrest if necessary. For our theft or larceny crimes, the great preponderance of those in our community are thefts from vehicles, and also auto thefts. And there's a lot that we can do as a community. And I'll talk about thefts first. If we remove property from our cars, we lock our cars up when we're not in them, we drive down property crime. We make it harder for thieves to find something to take in our community. So there's a real measurable way that we can impact property crime through simply securing our homes, securing our vehicles, removing visible property, letting our neighbors know when we're going to be out of town. We can really impact our property crime rates, and we did in 2023. But that's thanks to all of you paying attention to your surroundings, paying attention to your neighbors, and calling us when you need us. The final property crime category I want to talk about, and I want to talk about this for a little bit, is auto theft. When I talked to you last year, we talked about auto theft. Auto theft had doubled year over year in Manhattan Beach. Doubled. And what we noticed when we dove down into the metrics were about half of the cars that were stolen in Manhattan Beach, the keys were with the vehicle at the time of the theft. So what that means is someone had left their keys in the cup holder or in a handbag or something like that, which means the car was unlocked. They left it in the car. And so an enterprising criminal came by, hit the push to start button, and the car went vroom, and there they went, right? And so we spent a lot of last year messaging about retaining your keys, locking your car. And you know what? Auto theft went down by half last year, all right? And when we looked at those metrics about auto theft for last year, we found that only 17% of the time were keys with the vehicle. So that tremendous 33% reduction and when keys were with the vehicle and when they were not, cut auto theft in half. And so there's a measurable amount of success that we can have driving down property crime in town. So when you get out of your car, when you see a friend get out of their car and they leave their purse, or you don't hear or see the lights flash or hear the horn honk, remind them. If you want that car to be out there in the morning, make sure you take the keys with you, because a lot of property crimes are crimes of opportunity. And if the opportunity isn't there, the crime simply doesn't occur. So I want to, thank you for all that you did last year to help drive down crime through your actions. But two, let's remember to redouble those efforts this year to continue to drive down crime, continue to remind yourself, your friends, your neighbors to do those proactive things that we can do to secure property so that criminals go elsewhere, because the pickings are pretty slim in Manhattan Beach. Oh, it's real tepid applause there. So I'll just talk a little bit about our department and what we've done over the last couple of years with regard to recruitment. We have about 117 full-time employees, and that's our sworn staff and our professional staff. And we can continue to partner with the Human Resources Department to continue to hire for both sworn and professional staff. Because while police officers like me get a lot of the credit for what happens in the city, we can't do it without our professional staff. The folks behind the scenes in the building who make sure everything's processed and filed with the court and respond to all of our requests, as well as our community services officers who are out in the field responding to community concerns. And so all of this, we need everyone to make all the boats rise. And so our 117 full-time employees really just do a great job, and we're grateful for our partnership with the Human Resources Department to continue to recruit and retain quality personnel. So we're just so thankful. So if we're talking a moment about data and our crime data, this is probably my most boring slide, so I apologize. Over the last couple of years, the way that we report crime statistics has changed. For decades, we reported using the Uniform Crime Reporting System. That was required of us by the Department of Justice. Every police department did it the same way, by the same metrics. And it was a way to allow one city, to compare their crime to another, and how we compare crime across the country. The Uniform Crime Reporting System had 9 crime categories that it used, and those are the crime categories that we saw on the other slide with regard to crimes against persons and crimes against property. And if an incident happened, no matter what happened in that incident, no matter how many crimes were committed, under UCR, that crime was counted once. Whatever the highest crime category was, we counted it once. Now we've transitioned to the National Incident-Based Reporting System, which is short, we call it NIBRS for short. And NIBRS is a completely different way of looking at the same information. What we realized over the years was, because every city was required to report crime in UCR and report on these 9 crime categories, that was the focus of the cities, right? If that's the thing you have to focus on, those are the crimes that you're going to try to impact and drive down so that you're making a measurable impact on crime. But that was at the detriment of other crimes that were probably equally as important. And so a couple of years ago, the Department of Justice decided that we would all, as a country, move to NIBRS. And NIBRS reports crimes differently. And so you're going to see different numbers this year. Whereas under UCR, you could have an incident where 5 crimes occurred and you stat it once. The same incident under NIBRS, you have one incident where 5 crimes occur, you count it 5 times. So you can imagine how that will make the crime statistics appear larger. We did some tracking last year for a couple of months and compared the two, and we had a month where under UCR, the number of property crimes reported was 82. But we did the same crimes under the NIBRS method of information collection, and it was 112 crimes. So nothing changed, the same information, but how it will be reported and how it will look will be very different because of how NIBRS examines crime and how it looks at crime through a significantly higher number of crime categories. And that allows us as law enforcement to have more nuance to what we do in terms of how we are able to impact crime in a more nuanced fashion. So it's a good thing, but it's a change. And we know that there's 2 things we don't like: change and the way things are. So we will all get through this together. And if you have questions about NIBRS, don't hesitate to ask. All right. I hope that you've heard my partnership message throughout my presentation, that crime prevention is an us thing. It's all of us. It takes all of us to drive down crime. We can be responsive, we can provide information on crime trends, but we all have to do this together. We can't be everywhere at once, and you know what's suspicious in your neighborhood better than we do. You know where the kids like to run when the officers show up at the park better than we do. So we rely on you to, if you see something, to say something, whether that's our non-emergency number or whether that's 911, depending on what you see. But there are other ways to find out what's going on in Manhattan Beach. One is through signing up for Alert South Bay, which you can do either via the website or texting Alert SB to 888-777, or using the QR code here. If you haven't already signed up for Alert South Bay, we use Alert South Bay when we want you to do something. And you're like, well, what does that mean? Well, when we give you an alert of a traffic accident and a road closure, what we want you to do is avoid the area, right? So that's why we use Alert South Bay when we want you to take an action. Or if we have an incident where we want people to stay out of the area or remain in place, that's the action we want you to take, and that's what we use Alert South Bay for. We don't use it to talk about every crime. We use it when you as a community can take some sort of affirmative action, whether that's avoiding an area due to a traffic collision, avoiding an area due to police activity, or if we're looking for someone in an area, what they look like, and to call us if you see them. So please sign up for Alert South Bay if you haven't already. The other thing you can do is sign up for our weekly and monthly crime summaries. So you can get those in a variety of ways. If you're into social media, they're posted every week on our socials. They're also on the city's website. And if you go to the city's website to see the crime updates, you can sign up for them and have them automatically delivered to your inbox. So one click and you're done, and you'll get those crime updates every week, and you'll get our monthly update every month. So please stay informed about what we're doing. Please stay in the know. Now, I say this a lot, and my poor captain who's standing in the back hears this a lot, that teamwork makes the dream work. Again, we don't do this without you. So join Neighborhood Watch, get to know your neighbors more, meet regularly with the police department through Neighborhood Watch, or come to a community event and meet your police officers, meet your professional staff from the police department, and ask any questions that you would like to ask in an informal setting. And so our next handful of events, we have Cupcakes with a Cop at Susie Cakes here on April 10th. So please join us. That's from 3 to 5 p.m. On April 10th. Please join us for Cupcakes with a Cop. Or if you just like cupcakes, just come for a cupcake and wave goodbye. We also have Tip a Cop. We will have 2 Tip a Cops this year. We normally only have 1, but we were approached by a community member to have a second Tip a Cop, and we love raising money for special events. So Tip a Cop is April 18th, and guess where it is? It's here. So you already know how to get here. So please join us for Tip a Cop on April 18th. And if that's not enough fun for you, we're having a police and fire department open house on May the 11th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. We'll have tours of the police department, tours of the fire department, some demonstrations from our K-9 officers as well as from our firefighters, and it's going to be a great event. So if you want to see the police department and you have not seen it because you didn't join the Community Police Academy and get a tour, please join us for open house. Please bring your friends and your family. Please get to meet your police officers and your firefighters and engage with us. So that's it. That's my presentation. So before I go, I just wanted to tell a little story, if that's okay. 60 seconds, that work? Can I have 60 seconds? So this time of year always reminds me of when I was a brand new solo police officer. I was in a beach city just down the road from here, very nice city, and I got released from training in the middle of March. And the weather was like this, it was gorgeous. And I was like, they paid me to do this. And it was a wonderful, wonderful time. And then, working for a couple of months and like trying to learn how to be a police officer. And then I came to work the Friday night before Memorial Day. And it was like someone opened the door to the city. I never worked harder, like in those 3 months of the summer than I had worked, my entire time in training. And I just like to, this part of the year always reminds me of that, of how like great weather, beautiful city, great business owners, great residents, and it's ours for just a little bit longer. And then people will go on vacation, they'll come and visit us, and while it'll still be ours, we'll be sharing it for a little bit, and it'll be a little bit harder to get around. But just know that no matter what time of year it is, no matter how busy it gets in the city, we're never too busy for you at the Manhattan Beach Police Department. Whether that's a big problem, whether that's a small problem, no call is too small. Do not hesitate to call us. If you think, I don't want to call you because I'd be bothering you, we are in the bothering business. So please call us. Please call us if you need anything. If you're not getting your resolution that you want, please email us if you have a long-term problem that we can help you solve. But we are here for you as we have been for the last 100 years. I thank you so much for your time. Have a great night.
Well, good evening. Welcome to the State of the City. And if you've been here before I always like to start with a quote from our former controller, Henry Mitzner, 47-year employee of the city, who said many times, when it's bad out there, it's good here, and when it's good out there, it's great here. And what Henry is talking about is points east of here, north of here, south of here, we're always just a little bit better, and sometimes a lot better than what's going on in other communities. So we actually have this up on the wall behind the receptionist at City Hall as a reminder of how fortunate we are to be here. And we really are. Manhattan Beach is a special place. So let me start with the big picture, and I'll go quickly through this. We have a balanced budget. We have for many years. We live within our means. This has been the case for the existing city council and every prior council I've ever had the pleasure of working for. We take many steps to make sure that we're living within our means and that our expenditures are reasonable and that they are in keeping with what the residents want within our community. Our reserves are not only stable, but they're increasing. And part of the reason for that is that we have policies that say we'll set aside 20% of our expenditures each year for reserves. And so we do that each year. And as the expenditures go up, so do our reserves. I'm happy to tell you that our reserves have not been touched in many, many years, if ever. Even during the Great Recession, we tightened our belts, we cut back, we eliminated some services or reduced, and we're able to make it through without touching reserves. Same during COVID. We didn't have to dip into reserves at all, and so we continue to build those reserves for that rainy day that we hope never comes. Oops. Revenues are recovering nicely after the pandemic, and I'll talk a little bit about that. We have labor agreements in place till 2025, and this is important because labor agreements with our employees give us predictability in our expenses, and so it allows us to plan. We do have a dedicated workforce. Many of the people that you run into, you have the pleasure of interacting with, are really committed to this community and to what they do, and they really enjoy it. And it shows, and that's kind of our secret sauce here at the city is our employees. We do get clean audit opinions. What that means is we have an external auditor that comes to the city and looks at our books and basically says, you know, you guys are doing a good job of recording recording exactly what's going on financially for you, and it fairly represents our finances. And so we get those opinions annually. We also have a AAA credit rating, actually from Moody's and S&P. Why that's important? Because it lowers our borrowing costs when we do need to borrow money for projects. It also, interestingly, attracts businesses to the city that say, this must be a well-run city because they've got AAA credit ratings from those two rating agencies. And then finally, something we're very thankful to the community for is the updated storm drain fee that the voters passed this last January. It's been a big deal for us, yes, and it allows us to have more funds available for police, fire, paramedics, and things like that. We also have the ability to fund capital projects within our budget, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about that in a few minutes. And I've already talked about storm drain. So let's talk about the general fund revenue. This pie chart, from what you can see, is the revenue within this current year budget for the city. And we have about $93 million of revenue coming in. And if you take a look, the big blue slice at the top is property tax, and that's about 46% of our budget. Why that's important? Property tax is a very stable revenue source. It doesn't have fluctuations that are subject to the business cycle like sales tax would, where it depends on how much people are spending. Sales tax, property tax, of course, if you own your home, doesn't go up more than 2% a year for your benefit. But also, frankly, when the recession hit, our property values didn't decline by much, and in fact, we didn't have a reduction in property tax at all. And so if you have this as your biggest revenue source, that's a tremendous benefit, and it allows us to have some predictability and consistency in the services we're providing to you. Bottom right, the other blue chart piece of the pie there is other taxes. This includes sales tax, hotel bed tax, and business license tax, to name a few. And I'll talk more about those here. Property tax has gone up about 25% over the last 4 years. So it's averaging a little bit over 6% a year. And as I said, it's a stable revenue source for us, and it gives us that continuity that we need for the services. So oftentimes when people pay their property tax, they think all that money is going to the city and we're getting every dollar of it. Well, the fact of the matter is that property tax is broken up among many public agencies. And so this chart shows us what that breakdown is. The city gets about 15 cents on the dollar. If you have a $2 million assessed value, we're getting about $2,900. The school district gets likely like amount of 15%, so they're getting the same amount. County takes 31%, and there are other agencies, Beach Cities Health District, the library, and others that get a piece of that property tax pie here. But this is the breakdown. I know you can't begin to read what's at the bottom there, but it does break down every agency that gets some of that 1% that is collected. Sales tax is an important revenue source for us, and it's based on retail sales within Manhattan Beach. And so the way this works is you go into Target and you buy $100 worth of something, it's taxable. We get $1 from that sale. And so you can see from this, we've gone up about 31% over the last 4 years, not quite 8% a year. But what's important to know about sales tax is it's very tied to the economic cycles. And so some cities you may see, they've got auto dealerships and auto malls, big box retail, all that going on. When economic times get hard, they suffer. And so this is where our property tax really pays off for us. You know, we rely on this. We're getting $11 million this year in sales tax, which is great. But I'm glad we have property tax as our main source here. So is Brad here? Nope, I don't see Brad, but oh, there he is. So when you go over to Manhattan Beach Toyota and you buy a new car for $40,000, you pay $3,800 in sales tax. And out of that, the city gets $400. We get 1% of that $40,000. But if you go down to Carson and buy that same car, we don't see any of that. And so this is money that we use to pay for police, fire, paramedics, all the city services that you enjoy. So keep that in mind when you're buying your big screen TVs or what have you, because you're helping fund many of the services that we provide to you. Here's a list of the top 20 sales tax producers, probably difficult to read as well, but it's listed in alphabetical order. And why that's important is that I can't list from you 1 to 5,000 how much each of these businesses generate. It's against the law for me to tell you that. I can't even list them in order of top to bottom. So you can probably guess when you look at this list who the big players are. Usually big box retail plays a big part. Auto dealerships, an Apple store is a really great thing to have in Manhattan Beach. But again, my point here is shop in Manhattan Beach, keep your money here because it helps pay for the services that we provide to you. So e-commerce comes up every now and then because people say, well, if I go to Macy's.com, wouldn't Manhattan Beach still get that sales tax? Fact is, when you go online for e-commerce, that goes into a pool, LA County pool, based on where it's delivered, and then every city in the county gets to share some of that sales tax. So you go over here to the Manhattan Village Mall and you buy something there, we're going to get our 1%. You go through e-commerce, we get just a small portion of that. And as we know, about 15% of all retail sales now are online, and out of that, 38 cents of every dollar goes to Amazon. And so, again, shop local, get out, drive, ride your e-bike, sorry, Joe, and go over and shop in Manhattan Beach. Hotel occupancy tax is another great source of revenue for us. You'll see from this that we had the pandemic in fiscal year 2021, but we've recovered from that, and our hotels are doing well. We also raised the TOT rate. The voters raised it from the TOT rate being the occupancy tax rate, raised it from 12% to 14% this last July 1st. So that's helping to bolster our numbers here. And what's not shown on this are short-term rentals, the Airbnbs, the VRBOs. I was talking with our finance director, Steve Cerulean, a little bit earlier today, and while we planned on having about $300,000 of short-term rental hotel bed tax from them, it's turning out more like $900,000 this year. And so that's a growing revenue source for us. And again, it helps pay for the services that we're enjoying here. Building permits. There's a lot of building activity in this town, and whether it's commercial or residential, remodeling activity, rebuilding activity, it's all going on. And one of our leading economic indicators is how many demolition permits we get from people that want to tear down their homes and build new ones. It's not uncommon to have 20 a month come through for that to happen. And I know it all feels like it's on the same block. We get those complaints. But it's high demand. Everybody wants to do that. So we've got some big projects that are adding to our revenue this year. There's the hotel on Sepulveda. It's in plan check right now. We've got Sunrise Assisted Living a little bit farther north on Sepulveda, and of course the High Rose project. So these are all fees that come from first the plan check, making sure it meets building codes, and then the actual building permits that get issued. So let's talk about the expenditure side of things here. We're spending about $93 million this year through our services, and as you can see from this chart, or maybe you can't, the two right slices, police and fire, make up 57% of our general fund expenditures. Public safety is the City Council's #1 priority, and our budget allocations reflect that. And this includes the 7 new officers that Rachel alluded to earlier, 3 new firefighters we added, and some other staffing that's been added to provide the services that we do. But public safety is by far our #1 priority. If you look at this breakdown, the big pie chart or pie slice on this are salaries and benefits. And much like the school district, we are a service organization. We deliver our services through people. So obviously we pay salaries and benefits for that purpose. And so when you have people, whether it's a public works employee out patching potholes, or Parks and Rec, helping with Parks and Rec classes, code enforcement, all these services, that goes into our employees and then the services that we're providing. We have a number of projects that are approved for this year, about $50 million worth. There's the senior and scout house that is in plan check right now that is a combination of Friends of the Scouts, the city putting in a fair amount of money. Beach Cities Health District gave us $150,000 for it. So that's coming along nicely. The Aquatic Center feasibility study that you're probably all participating in is going on. The parking structure right across the way here on Morningside needs to be replaced, and so we're doing a feasibility study on that. We're looking at hopefully doing a little underground parking there, maybe some mixed use. We're dealing or coming up with ideas on that right now, but we need to work on that. Water and sewer, most people don't like to think about it. It's there when you need it, but we've got $50 million worth of projects over the next 5 years to make sure it's there when you need it. And so that's not the sexy stuff that we do, but we hear about it when it doesn't work the way it should. And then, of course, we've got a citywide camera project that we're working on for public safety and a few other things going on. So a lot of exciting stuff here. So to wrap it up, really we're in good financial shape. We are AAA bond rated, which, as I said, is a great recruiting tool for businesses here in town. The high level of service our employees give you hopefully meets your needs. And so if it doesn't, please let us know because we want to please you. We have some funding for key capital projects, and of course I think we're well positioned for any of the challenges we have. But before I end, I do want to take just a minute to thank some of our staff, in particular Allie, Kristen, and Elizabeth for helping with the presentation and putting all this together with the chamber. They've done a phenomenal job doing that. And then also I'd like to ask the department heads to stand up and be recognized because these are the folks that are helping with the staff. They are putting the boots on the ground and making the services what they are. So thank you to you for what you do. So I appreciate your time. I'll be available for questions later, but thank you so much.
Hello, my name is Joe Franklin, and I'm honored to be the mayor of the beautiful city of Manhattan Beach. With just over 35,000 residents, we're a warm and welcoming community known for our beautiful beaches, award-winning schools, and signature outdoor events. Our vibrant shopping and restaurant business districts, both downtown and at the North End, are as unique as they are charming. We are continually investing in our city infrastructure and services, and this past year has been nothing short of remarkable. We completed the Peck Reservoir and Water Infiltration Project and completed construction of our new Fire Station number 2, serving our residents on the east side. These endeavors lay the groundwork for a more resilient and sustainable future and provide a wide array of emergency response and support services to our community. Whether you're looking to take an art or a swim class or participate in an after-school activity, we have a program for you. Our city is a treasure trove of outdoor activities and events representing our community spirit and hometown feel. From the family-friendly Pollywog Park with a new play structure to the historic and culturally significant Bruce's Beach Park, to the Strand and bike path along the ocean, and our unique 3.5 mile Veterans Parkway Greenbelt, there's always an open green or sandy space waiting for you to enjoy. Manhattan Beach is home to sports, recreation, and iconic events. Whether you're here to catch the Manhattan Beach Open Volleyball Tournament hosted by the ABP or participate in the Catalina Classic paddleboard race, Manhattan Beach Open Tennis Tournament, or the International Surf Festival, there's an adventure for everyone. In fact, here I am in the White Rash Guard finishing the 2-mile peer-to-peer paddleboard race. I guess I'll have to work on my dismount for next year. And let's not forget our cherished traditions like the Hometown Fair and 10K, the 6-man volleyball tournament, the world-famous pumpkin race, and the magical holiday fireworks. These events bring us together year after year, creating memories that last a lifetime. Our city-owned public safety agencies reflect our unwavering commitment to public safety, as evident in our constant efforts to strengthen both our fire and police departments by keeping them fully staffed, trained, and equipped with the latest equipment. My fellow council members and I are committed to continuing our traditions and serving our residents, visitors, and businesses at the highest level possible. With our devoted team of city employees, compassionate service organizations, and caring residents, we will work to bring the best possible experience for those who live in and visit our wonderful city. Thank you very much. Hi, I'm Joe Franklin, and my name is Joe Franklin. Mermaids dancing out. We've got dolphins. We've got, oh, look at that, a blue whale. Oh, sorry, you didn't get it. Got to be fast. Well, hello, everybody. I know it's a little chilly, so I'll go ahead and make sure I'm quick. But there's just one thing I have to say about the paddleboard race. Third place. Of course, there are only 3 in my age group. All right, I also want to thank the staff for their help in putting this together. And also thank all the staff for all the hard work they do over the years. I want to introduce my wife, Nancy, right here. If you would, Nancy, stand up. So probably more than she was excited about me becoming mayor because she's always said that she wanted to be known as Flambe, which is First Lady of Manhattan Beach Extraordinaire. So you're Flambe. And then where did my daughter go? Oh, my daughter Taylor, right here. She's here as well. And we have our son and his family in North Carolina listening in, I think. So thank you. It's an honor to stand before you today to reflect on where we have come this past year and lay out the plan for a secure and promising future. Your city council's commitment to fostering a safe, vibrant, and fiscally sound city remains steadfast. So let's explore the strides we made together and envision what lies ahead. Our first responsibility is ensuring the safety and security of all of our residents and visitors. Over the past year, we've strengthened our police force with additional officers, focusing on policing and community outreach. Our police department remains diligent in fighting crime, apprehending criminals, and maintaining a strong presence to deter crime. We will continue to invest in cutting-edge technology to aid our officers in keeping us safe. The council will continue to invest in homelessness outreach and housing placement initiatives to ensure anyone who needs a hand up has a place to stay and access to remediation services. Our city has the will to do positive things about helping the unhoused and has invested in the means to make an impact. In the past 12 months, we've conducted extensive e-bike and bike safety training to over 6,000 students. Hand in hand with this effort, we have approved some of the toughest e-bike safety ordinances in the South Bay and conducted multiple targeted enforcement operations to ensure compliance. This will continue. And we do this because e-bikes can be valuable to reduce vehicle trips, automobile parking, and pollution. One of those photos is I took of a whole rack full of e-bikes down early in the morning during the middle school surf PE class. And when our kids were going to the middle school, it was always a line of SUVs dropping the kids off and waiting for them and things like that. And now you see all electric bikes with surfboard racks, and it's really a terrific thing to see. So we have continued to invest in our fire department with the opening of Fire Station number 2, as well as hiring 3 additional firefighters. The council is committed to keeping our fire department well-trained and an integral part of our community. We continue to support our vital businesses with several initiatives this past year aimed at improving our business environment. The City Council approved a cost-effective plan to bring in-house consistent pressure washing of our sidewalks. This has dramatically improved the cleanliness of downtown, the pier, and in North Manhattan Beach. Our Public Works Department installed 20 new Big Belly solar-powered trash cans in our business districts. And why that has a funny name, these hold more trash than traditional receptacles and compact the trash to reduce the number of pickup trips needed. This helps reduce trash on our sidewalks and congestion on our streets. No offense to our waste management folks. There we go. Our public works staff now does pickup. Now picks up trash that does not make it to the trash cans and continues their efficient cleanup of graffiti. Please thank them for their hard work when you see them around town, and you can give them a round of applause now. They've actually put me out of work because I pick up a lot of trash, and now there's nothing to pick up anymore. So thank you very much. Our community development team has diligently worked to streamline the permitting process, making it easier for businesses and homeowners to make improvements. The city approved 4 new hires, making it quicker to obtain building permits. As previously mentioned, we completed one of the most ambitious public works projects in our city's history, the demolition and complete rebuilding of Peck Reservoir. This lays the groundwork to create water independence and resiliency, as well as lowering costs and improving water quality. The city secured 5 grants totaling over $35 million to improve infrastructure in the community, including $200,000 from Congressman Ted Lieu's office for the Peck Avenue Storm Drain Project. And is Ted Lieu's representative here? Right there? Yep. Thank you so much. $3,500,000 from Assembly Member Al Marisucci's office for the El Porto Water Infrastructure Improvement Project. I'm not sure if I saw Al's representative here. Oh, is she? I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. There we are. Thank you. And over $17 million from LA County for the 28th Street Infiltration Project. So, Jocelyn, right over there, is Holly Mitchell's representative. We also began work on replacing our iconic pier railings. The materials have arrived after long manufacturing delays, and we are looking forward to starting and completing that project very soon. We are renowned in the South Bay for our beautiful parks. Pollywog Park received a major upgrade with the new pirate ship play structure and a wonderful story walk feature. We worked with AYSO and soccer clubs to replace the turf at Marine Avenue Soccer Field and installed new Strand Park course equipment, thanks to the generosity of the Hometown Fair 10K Committee. And Russ Lesser is the founder of it. The Catalina Classic statue and the Velzy Surfboards commemorative plaque were both installed. These are intrinsically tied to and honor our important Manhattan Beach waterman history. And you have heard from Dr. As you have heard from Dr. Bose, the City Council has supported our schools for many years and will continue to strengthen our partnership. We have committed an average of $1.9 million each year for school resource officers, crossing guards, specific projects, field maintenance, and fee waivers. As we look to the future, our vision for the city is clear. A place where safety, quality of life, and excellent education all go hand in hand. The state of our city is strong. The heart of our city is its people. Your creativity, generosity to others, and community spirit drive our progress and make what is good even better. Time doesn't allow me to list all the Manhattan Beach service organizations and charities who help those in our city and beyond. So in Manhattan Beach, as evidenced by our Neighborhood Watch and other organizations, we look out for each other. We respect each other. We are open and welcome to those who come visit the city to share what we enjoy every day. I thank each and every one of you from the bottom of my heart for making Manhattan Beach so special and the place that we are so lucky to call home. So thank you all very much.